Hello, Tuberuni Yui. How are you doing today? Well, pardon me. That was not a good intro, was it? So, my name is Paul Murphy, as it was yesterday, and as hopefully will be tomorrow. Although I may be Millicent Grunge tomorrow, just for a change. And this is, I think this is video 8. I can't see it. These are my reading glasses, so all I can see there, camera, is a hey, so, here there. So this is chapter 8 of this book here, which is Paul Murphy's in the shop. Paul Murphy's version of A Christmas Carol. No, not that one, a different one. And just in case you're not following these in order and you've just come across this, purely because you committed sins in another life. Well, I'm very pleased to meet you in any case. So we're on page 55, if you wish to go to Amazon and buy the book. Read along with me. In fact, you make a video of you reading it and I'll watch that because you probably read a whole lot better than I will. Jacob Murphy has come to visit Scrooge, told him about the 3 ghosts that are going to visit him in the night. And let's just dive in. So I'm doing Scrooge in this kind of Ron Moody voice from the movie Oliver. I know I'll use Jacob Murphy. For Jacob Murphy, I'll use my own voice. So, page 55. Bad news. This is me being voiceover. Bad news is imparted to Mr. Jacob Murphy. Who starts? Oh, it's Jacob Murphy. But when, Scrooge? Must be, I don't know. How long have you been dead? Or rather, semi-dead. Just like you, Jacob. All you could ever manage was a semi when you were alive as well. I have been dead low these past 7 years, as I stated already. 7 years to the day, in fact, since I died on Christmas Eve. Yes, you always knew how to ruin a party. Actually, I recall now, you were run over by a Santa sledge, weren't you? Quite funny, really. I failed to see the humour in it. You have to know where to look. See, now, I realise that when you explain jokes to people, they aren't that funny, but try to use your imagination. See, you were on your way home to see your wife, having knocked off early to do so, you bloody idle good for nothing. I was co-owner of the business, and I was taking it as a loo day, having worked through the entire year without a day off. Oh yes, loo day. Workers speak for robbing my overly magnanimous and kind of benevolent employer day. Again, I was co-owner of the business. I was not your employee, I was your partner. Oh yes, partner. Thieves speak for expecting to have half the profits for doing nothing more than investing my life savings into starting the business. Anyway, Jacob, we can argue about it all night long, especially if it keeps your ghost mates from turning up. No, all I want to know is what happened to my beloved Fan. Fan being Scrooge's sister and Jacob Marley stroke Murphy's wife. And anyone who wants to stroke Murphy, I'm doing nothing for an hour. Yes, forgot where I was. Yeah, you and me both, mate. Yes, so you had taken an hour off to go and get Fan her, what do you call them again? Those things, you know, idiots give them out without care or thought for commensurate return, let alone profit. Popular on special occasions, I believe. They get wrapped sometimes and put in a box. Willies? No, that's a different kind of wrapping. Oh, what is the word I'm looking for? Are you trying to say presents? Yes, that is it. Prez. Do you know, I just cannot say the word. No, for some reason I am unable to form the word. How strange. No, not surprising at all. So yes, Scrooge, I had just been to the jeweller's to get my beloved Fan an eternity ring. Now you're just making it funnier. Scrooge, you mean creature. No, I mean funnier. Creature would be a whole different thing altogether. Who would say that even? How can this cartoon be any more creature? Did you see the hilarious 2 Reinholdts on stage last night? And it's good night from me, and it's good night from Himmler. Oh, they could not be more creature if they dressed in women's clothes and got thrown into Bedlam because of it. Nobody would dream of saying creature in the context of a hysterical, of a numerical descriptive, Jacob. They should have wrapped you in brains, not chains. I'm just going to take a breath. Is there a horse in here somewhere? Well, they do say there are similarities. The nose. What were you thinking? Where did I get to? Yes, you may hear the words "where did I get to" a lot in this. This is pretty good for me. Normally I've gone off on tangents long before now. Sometimes I even wake up on one. Where was I? That actually says that there. Anyway, where was I? Ah, yes. You were just returning home to wrap up the wonderful the thing you had just squandered a lot of money on, in the mistaken belief that the handing over of worldly goods is preferable to stacks of money that you can count and recount and count again all day long, and also the mistaken belief that the recipient of such an item will be so enamoured of it that they will let you do it the naughty way. When, wait for it, Jacob, here's the funny bit. You were run over by a Santa Claus in a sleigh hammer. My sides are splitting. Killed. Silence. Did you not get it? See, you were killed on Christmas Eve by a Santa on his way to the orphanage. You know, because you were going home with the Christmas present. A thing. Still silence. Are you not seeing the punchline? You were killed. Dead. Well, I don't see how the situation could be any more funnier. You, Scrooge, are the most despicable person I ever met. You should have gone out more. And you tell me my beloved Fan had passed away. Yes, I indeed forgot about that. You asked when she went. Well, actually, it was the very next day after you. What? Yes, the day after you. Goodness, I should have kept going. The story gets creature. Funnier. You've got me doing it now. It's going to take me ages to get that out of my head. Lucky, I only find something funny every 7 years. Yes, Jacob, after they had untangled you from the underneath of a sledge, later that night? Oh, yes, Santa. Oh, yes, Santa had a lot to do. He'd also had a lot to drink. Never actually noticed you'd been run over until the end of his shift, when he came out of delivering something with a bit of mistletoe on the end of it to the ladies in the super-rating Wart Public in and out, to find one of his reindeer munching on what looked suspiciously like a recently detached Jewish buttock, whilst simultaneously being mounted by another reindeer with a red nose and an amusement relief tea garment on. Rudolph? Oh, very Rudolph. What is going on here? Inquired a passing peeler. Mind your own business, and get that onion and pay for me, replied Santa, later exposed as the notorious Jack the Santa, aka the Whitechapel Rapper, who terrorised the neighbourhood every December the 24th for 5 years, giving ladies of the night pictures of a Guatemalan bushy-toed llama and telling them it was their long-lost twin and had they noticed their leg getting hairier recently. Separating the reindeer by declaring them man and wife, at which point the male reindeer lost interest in the lady and wandered off looking for a bit on the side, preferably a Guatemalan bushy-toed llama instead. Santa looked under his sleigh and found the main bulk of you, Jacob, wrapped under the left blade, and slightly less of you wrapped under the right one. He wrestled the buttock from the maw of the sexually unfulfilled female reindeer, searched your pockets, found your address, and turned up on your doorstep at 1 minute past midnight. Is this your husband, ma'am? He inquired of Fan, and showed her your semi-masticated arse. Oh, Jacob, no, here, those aren't my teeth marks, she wailed, and dropped to the ground in a swoon. Unfortunately for her, she was looking out the top floor window at the time. Santa called for an ambulance, but due to him calling it under the slurring influence of grog, a man turned up with a creme brulee instead. Being a kindly soul, Santa attached Fan's ankles to the rear bumper of his sleigh and pulled her all the way back to St. Pancras' Hospital and Horse Castrators, yelling back at Fan, "Hold on, love, don't worry, I know a shortcut." Sadly for Fan, the shortcut was down overly lengthy cobbled street. They do say that, by pure coincidence, the back of her head tapped out the tune of Auld Lang Syne as they went down it. Fan appeared to be saying, for ow, 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 fuck's sake instead. An hour later, they were at the hospital, and Santa untied Fan, threw her over his shoulder, rushed in through the doors, and quickly ran to the first doctor he saw. "Doctor, I've got Fan Murphy for you," he panted. "Bollocks, I asked for a train set," replied the doctor and walked away. We'd no spare change to put in the reindeer meter outside. Santa had to leave. We're going to have to knock this on the head soon. 10 minutes. I'll do 4 more minutes. Oh, mama. I'm so sorry. I'll be there in a second. Where did we get to? And walked away with no spare change to put in the reindeer meter outside. Santa had to leave, especially as he wanted to give Nellie Melba a quick trip to his North Pole, and he left Fan on a gurney with a note saying, "Mild concussion, and multiple severe fractures." As he reached the door, he glanced back one final time, also one first time, since he had not done so before, and saw Fan being wheeled into the operating theatre. And so fab. And so fab. And so fun. And saw Fan being wheeled to the operating theatre. Softly mumbling to herself. Right, we're going to do this. We can do this. We can get through this. Stop laughing and we'll get through this. As I said to the wife on the honeymoon. As he reached the door, he glanced back one final time. Also, one first time, since he had not done so before. And he saw Fan being wheeled into the operating theatre, softly mumbling to herself in her delirium, "My lovely Jacob," and "What kind of fucking Christmas present is a left buttock, Santa?" Okay, here endeth chapter 8, and my bladder's ability to retain things. Catch you soon.